In this video, I'll be exploring some of the new features that are available in Power Automate application. So let's start looking into some of the new features. So this is not like a comprehensive list, but I would like to cover some of the new feature which may help the Power Platform developer to build the application. So I'm in make.powerautomate.com. So here when you go into a flow, so if I click on my flow, what I'm going to do, I'm going to open some of the flows which I've already created, and then from there I will be showing you some of the feature sets. So first thing is, if you go into any of the flows, so let me go into say one of the flows, say this one, test AI, and if I click on the link over here, then I should be able to see all the flow runs. So as you see over here, there are a couple of flow runs. So one is succeeded and one is failed. Now if I go inside one of the flow runs, I can resubmit this flow. So I have an option to resubmit this flow. So if the flow has failed, I have an option to resubmit it. Going back, if I click on all runs, then I have an option to even cancel all the flow runs. Now, as the list is limited over here, just think about it like if you have a flow run which just spans across multiple pages. And if you think that some of the flow has been, which has been running in loop, then you have an option to cancel all the flow run just from this interface itself. Okay, so that's the first one. Second thing, let me go into one of the flow. So this is one of the flow which I have opened over here. So test AI, going to edit. Now here in this interface, so I'm in the modern interface over here. So if I click on plus over here, I can see that now all the sections are segregated into favorites, AI capabilities, built-in tools, and by connector. Now the first one is the favorites. Now I have marked three of the action as favorite. Now you can use this functionality to favorite the actions which you use more frequently. So take for example, in my case, I use list rows and get a row by ID and compose action as more frequent in all of my flows. So I will mark that as favorite. Now, how do you mark this as favorite? Say, let's search for a connector action. Okay, so maybe let me check something on variable. Okay, so if you use initialize variable or set variable mode, then you just search for variable, and then if you just hover the mouse over here, you can see the information, and then you see a star icon. Just click on that star and then that will be marked as favorite. So set variable and initialize variable, I will mark it as favorite. Now what happens if you go into plus, and now you should see the set variable over here. Now if you want to see more favorites, because in the screen you will only see four, so if you click on see all five, then you will see these are the items which you have marked as favorite. So it's like an easy pick for you to just drag and drop. So if I want to use this information like set variable, I can just click on it. Okay, and then I will be adding those in my Power Automate flow. If I click on new over here, then click on get a row by ID, and then I can add that control very easily rather than searching and then finding those information. So favorite is one of the section. Second, anything related to AI capabilities is all segregated into a separate section called as AI capability. So you can expand and collapse. So I'm expanding this part. So if I click on see all 22, so I should be able to see all the AI capability related functionality like feature, document processing, text processing, and other. It's all listed over here, and then it's just like a one click. And if you want, you can even mark that as a favorite, right? So that's the third part. Other thing, like there are some built-in tools which is provided by Power Automate. Now that is put in separate section called as built-in tools. Now let's see what are the 12 tools which I have labeled. Control. So if you want to have like an if statement, then that control will be useful. Then there are something related to data operations or data time, date time, flows, HTTP, teams, request, variables. So all these things are segregated in a separate section. So if you are more into like a compose or filter or those kind of thing, click on data operation, and then you will see all the actions related to data operation. Then if you click on add an action again, here you, if you want to see say control, now in control you will have condition, do until, switch, scope, terminate. So it's just like one or two click, rather than you typing and searching for those information, it is all available out of the box. Now when you search for something, you have an option to either filter by trigger or action. So if you just want to search by trigger, you can just select triggers, and then it should give you a list of all the triggers. So if you type in request or http, then it will start finding those information. So this is also one of the nice addition in the interface. Now in the control over here, if I just do a right click, I have an option to add an action or add generative action. So if I click on add generative action, just with this interface I can run a generative action. I can just click on sign in, and then a connection will be established, and then I can use that generative action with just one click. Similarly, if I just do a right click, I have add AI prompts or models. Now I can easily get the AI reply, AI sentiment, or AI summarize, or I can use the other AI builder related functionality like extracting information from the docs, detecting the language, recognizing text and image. Let me click AI sentiment. The moment I click on that, processing will happen, and then it will show you an interface of AI sentiment. Now you have an option to even build that model. So you'll see that interface of AI sentiment. You can type in your prompt, you can see the prompt response, and once everything is good, you can just save it, and then you can utilize it with just one click. Earlier what used to happen is like you need to go into Power Apps or Power Apps AI builder, and then create the model over there, and then try to utilize that in Power Automate. But then with this functionality, you can just do it right in the authoring interface itself. Then you have an option to view the pane. Now this is one of the pane, so you can see this create text with GPT. This is one of the uh, frame. Now if I click on run a generative action, then it will load this. If I click on get a row by id, it will load this. Now if I want to see side by side get a row by id and compose, then I have an option to pin action. So I'll just do a right click and do a pin action, and then I can see two side by side. So if I want to compare to compose, or if I want to compare set variable and get row by id, I can just do this way. And if I want to unpin, I'll just click on unpin an action, and then that will go away. And if I do not want to see this, I can just minimize it, or I have an option to pin the action. Now there is a new functionality like get a row by id, so I can even add a note. So this was there in earlier interface, but in the modern interface I can even now say get row by id, row by id, and then maybe some commenting kind of a thing. So these all things will be part of this. So you will see this message icon over here, and then if you hover the mouse, you will see all the description. Similarly for this record, if I want to just click over here, now this is like I need to sign in, but let me go into the compose over here. Now in compose, I can pin the action, I can copy the action, I can delete the action, and even I can specify I want to run this action not after set variable, but after by perform an unbound action. I can even do that. So if I click on run after, then I have an option to select that I want to run this after perform an unbound action, not by set variable. Then you see how things change, in the interface. And now here you can say you don't want it to be after successful, but then you can select after timeout or skipped or failed. And this is how you see all the color code indication, and then you can author your flow accordingly. Next one is like the some selection over here. So let's go one by one. So if this is my flow, and if it's a long flow, so let me pick up a long flow. So I have some long flow. Let me find the flow. So let's assume this is one of my flow, or try catch capture error. So if I go into one of this flow, this is a big flow, and it has all these try catch and all those action happening. Now if I want to expand everything at once, I'll just click over here, and then it will expand all the items. If I want to collapse, I just click on it, and then it will collapse at one click. So you need not go and expand or collapse one by one. It's all there. You just need to utilize this. Okay, so expand and collapse. Then I have an option to zoom. So this was already there. So I can zoom, I can unzoom, Also, if I want to say center this, so this is zoom view to the view to the list, and then we have a mini map. So if I see this mini map, through mini map I can just move to the left, to the right, to the top, to the bottom, so I can do that. And again, if I want to say go into specific control, so take for example this is a very big flow. Okay, so this is a very big flow, and if I want to go into try copy one copy, then I just search here, and from here I just type in that search for operation. Let me search for copy, and then it will pick up three items. Let me go to copy one, and then you go into that control, and then you can go ahead and expand and collapse, right? So this is also a nice option for searching the operation, and even searching within that operation, if there are many repetitive text, like in my case there is try copy one, try copy one, so it's always good to rename all this scope actions, but then if you haven't, you can even search this using the keyword. Now other thing is like there is an action for Outlook. So in Outlook, for Outlook we have the send an email, right? Now in send an email, earlier we used to type in the email address. So first you establish a connection, and then you need to type in the actual email address. Now with the new feature set we have an option to add this. So I think this is throwing me an error, so let me open the one which I've already created. So let me see if I can create an Outlook connection. So I'm creating a connection to an Outlook. So that's a send email v2. So let me connect this. So once this connection is established, I should be able to send an email. Right now in the email you have the two address. Now here we need to actually type in the email, but now if I just type in Alex, then it will automatically search in your Active Directory and then try showing that item. So I'll just select Alex, and then this will be available. So I believe I have shown most of the things. Now, other thing which you can see is the automation center. I've already covered this in one of the video. In automation center, you can actually view all the flow runs, all the work queues, last 7 days flow run. You can configure filter by date. You can see all the flows. You can even all see all the run states. You can see the flow failures which has happened. So I have quite a few flow run failures. It will give you the flow run error rates. And also if you can go into one of the function, then on the right hand side you will see flow run error trend. So this is the flow which I've deliberately failed, and then it will show you this information, so error rate and the flow run. So that's it folks. This is all about the new functionality within the Power Automate interface. Thanks for watching.